In this tutorial, we introduce you to one of the vital components of the circulatory system called blood. If you like what you see on our channel, please like, subscribe and turn on notifications. What is blood? Blood is a life-giving body fluid, bright red when taken from an artery and dark red when taken from a vein. It is a specialized type of connective tissue that keeps circulating constantly from the heart to the arteries and back through the veins. An average adult has 5 to 6 liters of blood by volume in his body. The blood is slightly alkaline with a pH of 7.3 to 7.45. So what are the functions of blood? Blood has three main functions: transport of substances from one part of the body to the other, like respiratory gases, nutrients, waste products, enzymes, etc. Protection against diseases and regulation of body temperature. Blood consists of plasma, the fluid part, which constitutes 55 to 60%. The cellular or formed elements comprising of the red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets, which constitutes 40 to 45%. Let us learn about plasma in detail. Plasma is a light yellow colored alkaline liquid. It mainly consists of water, which forms 92% of its constituents, and the remaining 8% include proteins like fibrinogen and antibodies, lipids including cholesterol and fatty acids, glucose, hormones, mineral ions like sodium, chloride, dissolved gases like carbon dioxide, and excretory substances like urea. Now let us learn about the formed or cellular elements of the blood in detail. The formed or cellular elements are of three categories: red blood cells, white blood cells and the blood platelets. The red blood cells, also called erythrocytes, are made in the bone marrow of some bones including ribs, vertebrae and some limb bones. They are produced at a very fast rate, about 9,000 million per hour, because they do not live for very long. Each red cell only lives for about 120 days. Red blood cells transport oxygen for aerobic respiration. Do you know how the red blood cells are adapted to carry out this function? Let us explore. The red blood cells are red because they contain a red colored pigment called hemoglobin, a protein which contains iron in it. It is this iron that readily combines with oxygen and gives it up where the oxygen supply is needed. They have no nucleus so that they can pack themselves with the maximum amount of hemoglobin to carry as much of oxygen as possible. They are minute, biconcave, disc-like structures, flat in the center and thick and rounded at the periphery. This structure provides a large surface area which makes them very efficient in absorbing oxygen. The small size enables the red blood cells to squeeze through even the tiniest capillaries. This means that oxygen can be taken very close to every cell in the body. The old and weak red blood cells are destroyed in the spleen, liver and bone marrow. Their iron part is retained in the liver, while the rest is excreted as a bile pigment called bilirubin. Now let us understand the role played by the white blood cells in our body. The white blood cells or leukocytes are a part of the immune system that are involved in protecting the body against both infectious disease and foreign invaders. White blood cells reside throughout the body, including the lymphatic system and in the blood. They flow through the bloodstream to fight viruses, bacteria and other foreign invaders that threaten our health. When our body is in distress and a particular area is under attack, white blood cells rush in to help destroy the harmful substance and prevent illness. These are produced by stem cells in the bone marrow, lymph nodes, and sometimes in the liver and the spleen. Their number is much less, usually about 4,000 to 8,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. The lifespan of white blood cells ranges from 13 to 20 days, after which time they are destroyed in the lymphatic system. The white blood cells can move around and can squeeze out through the walls of the blood capillaries into all parts of the body. They have a nucleus which is often quite large and bilobed. White blood cells are of 5 types and they all have the function of destroying pathogens in the body, but they do it in different ways. Monocytes help to break down bacteria. Lymphocytes produce antibodies to fight against bacteria, viruses, and other potentially harmful invaders. Neutrophils kill and digest bacteria and fungi. They are the most numerous types of white blood cells and your first line of defense when infection strikes. Basophils secrete chemicals such as histamine, a marker of allergic disease that help control the body's immune response. Eosinophils attack and kill parasites and cancer cells and help with allergic reactions. Most white blood cells fight infection through a process known as phagocytosis, in which they surround, engulf, and destroy foreign substances, and these cells are collectively called as phagocytes. This is a defensive mechanism against disease-causing germs. Now let us learn about platelets. Platelets, also called thrombocytes, are minute blood cells with no nucleus. These are derived from some giant cells called megakaryocytes in the red bone marrow. These are about 2 lakhs to 4 lakh per cubic millimeter of blood in an adult. Their lifespan is 3 to 5 days, post which they are destroyed mainly in the spleen. They play a very important role in clotting of blood to help heal a wound and stop the bleeding. So how do the platelets help in clotting of blood? Stay tuned as we understand the different stages in clotting of blood in our next tutorial.